Carowinds knows that you can't fit all the reasons the Carolinas are such a great place to live into one ad. So they went ahead and put it all into one festival, Taste of the Carolinas, Saturdays and Sundays, April 22nd through May 14th. There will be food from around the region, paired with craft beer and wine, plus chef demonstrations. But that's not all. There's shag lessons, live music, and kids activities so you can bring the whole family to get a true Carolina experience. But hurry, right now everyone pays kids price, only at Carowinds.com.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning. It's Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and it is Monday, June 13th, 2011. This is No BS Job Search Advice. This is a show I've been hosting now for about 6 months, giving you advice about job search. And I must tell you, what an adventure getting here today. I normally commute in from northeastern Pennsylvania a couple of times a week, or at least until next week when my family and I moved to Asheville, North Carolina. And frankly, today was hell, I tell you. It's normally a long enough trip to begin with, but add another 50 minutes onto it, and I dialed in for my own show with 20 seconds to spare. And no sooner do I connect, I'm seeing the thing on the display that says 20 seconds till showtime, and I log on, and it's doing the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow. So I feel very fortunate to be here on time. I wouldn't have missed the show. I would have used my cell phone to call in, but heck, that was really cutting it close. But anyway, I wanted to talk with you today about a couple of things, and one was the idea of making more money. And I don't know about you, but I know for me, money is an important factor in life. And if I told you that I could help you make, say, $70,000 more over the next 5 years, or actually more than $70,000 in compensation over the next 5 years, would I get your attention? For most people, I think I would. And I'd like to talk with you about a very simple way to make $70,000 more in compensation over the next 5 years. And here's how it goes. Change jobs one time and make $10,000 more in salary. Okay. And now change jobs a second time 4 years later, or in your fourth year, and make another $10,000. Now follow the math for a second. On the first job change, you made $10,000 more. On the second job change, in year 4 and 5, you made $20,000 more. That's $70,000. Let's say you get a 3% increase during that period of time. All told, you're probably making about $72,000 in additional compensation over the next few years. Not bad. Most people I know aren't prepared to discard $72,000 in compensation. Yet people stay in jobs out of loyalty for so many years and for so many reasons. And I don't begrudge them that. But when I point this out to so many folks, they're kind of shocked that they're leaving that much money on the table. Because the way the system is set up, organizations frankly penalize individuals who remain with their firm for many years. I don't care if you're a $40,000 person, a $140,000 person, or a $500,000 a year person. And obviously with a $500,000 a year compensation, a 3% increase is more significant, but you're probably in a pool where the raise percentages are higher. But no matter how you look at it, most compensation for individuals that remain within a firm is not particularly significant. Most salary increases, I should say, are not particularly significant when people stay on board. And certainly in these days where we've entered inflation, despite what the government says, with gas prices increasing pretty dramatically and not really slated to come down anytime soon, it's a shame to leave this much money on the table. So I want to encourage you, if you have a modicum of disinterest in your circumstances, or a modicum of disenchantment with your circumstances, don't just put up with it. Go exploring and see if there's something else you can do to improve your conditions. Now, the next thing I want to talk with you about is what employers look for when they hire someone. And, I have a formula that I teach people called C times 5 equals PL. So the first C in this formula is competence. So obviously, if an organization is evaluating someone, they want to hire someone who's competent to do the job involved. But I must tell you, if you talk to people who work in an organization where someone's been hired, often they question whether or not this person is competent or not. So competence is only one factor, and frankly, every couple of years I see a story in the business press that talks about how individuals are hired, and 20% of them, give or take, don't in any way, shape, or form fit the requirements of the position description. So what is it about this person that allows a firm to want to hire them? So I mentioned competence already, but let's throw that out the window now. The next factor that they evaluate for is self-confidence. Does this person carry themselves in a way that allows someone to feel confident in their abilities, to trust them, to inspire confidence that they can become the solution to their needs, even though ostensibly they may not be? Another factor is character. Do you have character? Do you demonstrate character? Are you a character? In some organizations, they want to hire characters, if you know what I mean, much more than they do people with character. Some firms want to hire both. But when all is said and done, do you have character? Chemistry is the next C in the formula. How do you fit in? How do you fit in with a prototypical employee that they'd like to hire in their organization? Will you blend properly? Are you the sort of leader or manager that they'd like to bring on? Is there something about you that's got that certain something that lets people know that you're right for them? Well, there's a couple of more things. On top of chemistry, maybe there's a little bit of charisma. Charisma is that factor that often differentiates one person from another. And I want to give you a sense of how charisma can show up and point out a couple of our politicians, Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. 3 people, 2 have one form of political persuasion, the third has a completely different. America loved all 3 of them at the time they were elected. Yet their politics are different, their beliefs are different, but there's just something about them that made them want to follow these people. And that's the factor of charisma. So I want to remind you that charismatic people have an advantage over non-charismatics. It's not a requirement, but it's a key advantage that makes compensation that much more significant. So if you are charismatic and you can show that in your interview, let it out. Let them see it. Let them experience you at your best. Because the right firm for you is going to be one that's going to admire those qualities within you. So those are 2 major points I want to cover. The importance of not forgetting about money in evaluating your current circumstances, and knowing that with a modest $10,000 raise over the course of 5 years, we're talking about an increase of over $72,000 in gross income. And then secondly, the factors firms evaluate for when they hire: competence, self-confidence, character, chemistry, charisma. I mentioned the formula adds up to PL, and that stands for personal leadership. That doesn't mean that you're the loudest, most vociferous person in the room, but you have those innate qualities within you that inspire confidence. So let's talk about some of the jobs I'm recruiting for now. And if you're qualified, available and interested, please email your resume to me at thebiggamehunter@cisny.com. If you know someone who might fit some of these roles better, feel free to forward this audio to them with my thanks and invite them to send a resume to me. And lastly, if you don't fit any of them, by all means, send your resume to me at thebiggamehunter@cisny.com, and just in the subject line, put the phrase "on spec." So, first job is in Westchester, New York, for a Hyperion planning lead, a lead individual with a strong background in Hyperion planning, and ideally S-based applications within large environments. This is with a consumer products firm there. They want someone local to the area. It's paid to about $125 on a base plus bonus. In Minneapolis, I need a SharePoint or Moss architect, figure 140 to 160 on a base plus local. Person needs to be a leader. Can come from a consulting or a vendor or a large enterprise environment, but has worked on large engagements. Again, going to 160 on a base plus bonus. Have a role for a consultant. It's a 2-month assignment for user experience or information architect developer to basically lead information architecture and user experience design efforts for a publisher in New York. Best rate I could pay for this is about $52 per hour corp to corp, and it'd be less on a W-2. Need a SQL Server developer for a contract. They would pay about $52 per hour corp to corp, again less on the W-2, probably about $47 W-2. SQL Server background, strong TSQL programming skills, strong database design development experience, experience with XML, SQL, SSIS, DTS, and ETL processes. And again, going to about $52,000. Need in Bridgewater, New Jersey, an infrastructure program manager. This is a role, it's part on the delivery side where you're running programs related to infrastructure architecture.